Welcome to a journey of discovery through the United States' most majestic natural wonders and cultural treasures. Today, we are traveling through the legendary East Coast Corridor, a region where colonial history meets modern innovation, where natural splendor stands alongside architectural marvels, and where every street corner tells a story centuries in the making. We'll walk through cities that witnessed the birth of a nation, stand before natural phenomena that have awed humanity for millennia, and experience the electric energy of urban centers that never sleep. This isn't just a tour, it's a journey through time, culture, and the very essence of the American spirit. But here's a question I want you to ponder as we begin. What is it about certain places that captures not just our eyes, but our souls? What transforms a location from merely beautiful to absolutely unforgettable? Keep this question in your heart as we explore together, and I promise you'll discover the answer. Before we get started on this amazing adventure, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell now. You won't want to miss out on similar trips in the future. Be sure to check out the links in the description below where you'll find great deals on flights, accommodations, and exclusive tour packages that will help make your dream trip a reality. Now let's get started on this amazing journey. New York City. New York City occupies one of the world's finest natural harbors, positioned at 47,128 degrees N latitude and 74,060 degrees W longitude. The city's strategic location has made it a global gateway for centuries, serving as the primary entry point for millions of immigrants seeking the American dream. The Hudson River flows majestically along Manhattan's western edge, while the East River separates Manhattan from Brooklyn and Queens, creating a stunning waterscape that defines the city's character. The story of New York City begins long before the skyscrapers and yellow cabs. Originally inhabited by the Lenape Native Americans, this land was first encountered by European explorer Giovanni de Verrazzano in 1524. In 1626, Dutch colonists purchased Manhattan Island for a legendary sum of 60 guilders worth of goods, establishing it as New Amsterdam. The British seized control in 1664, renaming it New York after the Duke of York. New York City's transformation into a global powerhouse accelerated dramatically in the 19th century. The opening of the Erie Canal in 1825 connected the Atlantic Ocean to the Great Lakes, establishing NYC as America's premier commercial hub. Ellis Island, operational from 1892 to 1954, processed over 12 million immigrants, forever cementing the city's identity as a cultural melting pot. The city's skyline began its dramatic vertical evolution in the late 1800s with the advent of steel frame construction. The Woolworth Building, 1913, Chrysler Building, 1930, and Empire State Building, 1931, each held the title of world's tallest building, symbolizing America's economic might. Today, One World Trade Center stands at 1,776 feet, a deliberate reference to America's independence year, representing resilience and renewal after the tragic events of September 11, 2001. New York City is essentially a collection of world-famous destinations within a destination. The Statue of Liberty, gifted by France in 1886, stands as an eternal symbol of freedom and opportunity. Lady Liberty rises 305 feet from ground to torch, welcoming visitors to America's shores just as she welcomed our ancestors. The Empire State Building offers breathtaking 360-degree views from its 86th and 102nd floor observatories, allowing you to see up to 80 miles on clear days across 6 states. The Brooklyn Bridge, completed in 1883, was the world's longest suspension bridge at the time and remains an architectural marvel that connects Manhattan to Brooklyn with stunning Gothic Revival towers. Wall Street, the financial capital of the world, pulses with economic energy in the historic financial district. The 9/11 Memorial and Museum offers a profoundly moving tribute to the nearly 3,000 lives lost, with twin reflecting pools occupying the exact footprints of the original Twin Towers. Broadway, the theater district's beating heart, features 41 professional theaters offering world-class entertainment. The Metropolitan Museum of Art houses over 2 million works spanning 5,000 years of human creativity. Fifth Avenue's luxury shopping, Greenwich Village's bohemian charm, Chinatown's vibrant energy, and Harlem's rich African-American cultural heritage each add unique flavors to this incredible urban tapestry. New York City, you're looking at America's most populous city with 8.3 million residents speaking over 800 languages, the world's most linguistically diverse city. It's a place where 300 years of immigration created an unparalleled cultural fusion, where architectural ambition reaches literally for the sky, and where every neighborhood tells a different story. From its strategic harbor location to its role as global financial, cultural, and media capital, NYC embodies the dynamism of modern urban civilization while honoring its complex, multi-layered history. Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome to Boston, ladies and gentlemen, a city where American history breathes through every cobblestone street and brick building. Situated in eastern Massachusetts, Boston occupies the Shawmut Peninsula along Massachusetts Bay, an inlet of the Atlantic Ocean. The city covers approximately 90 square miles, positioned at 42, 3,601 degrees N latitude and 71, 0589 degrees W longitude. Boston's geography is defined by its excellent natural harbor, which made it an ideal location for maritime trade and shipbuilding. The city sits at the mouth of the Charles River, which flows 80 miles from its source in Hopkinton to Boston Harbor. The surrounding region features gentle hills, historic neighborhoods, and extensive parklands connected by the famous Emerald Necklace, a 1,100-acre chain of parks designed by landscape architect Frederick Law Olmsted in the late 1800s. The city's unique peninsular geography meant that much of modern Boston is actually built on landfill. In the 19th century, ambitious urban planning projects literally expanded the city by filling in tidal flats and marshes. The Back Bay neighborhood, now one of Boston's most prestigious areas, was once underwater during high tide. The Boston Tea Party of December 16, 1773, saw colonists dump 342 chests of British tea into Boston Harbor, protesting taxation without representation. This act of defiance ignited the revolutionary flame. On April 19, 1775, the shot heard round the world rang out in nearby Lexington and Concord, beginning the Revolutionary War. The Battle of Bunker Hill on June 17, 1775, though technically a British victory, demonstrated that colonial militia could stand against professional British forces. Boston's revolutionary fervor was fueled by legendary figures like Samuel Adams, Paul Revere, John Hancock, and John Adams. Faneuil Hall, built in 1742, became known as the Cradle of Liberty, where passionate speeches rallied colonists to the cause of independence. The Old North Church became famous for Paul Revere's Midnight Ride, one if by land, two if by sea, warning colonists of British troop movements. Beyond revolution, Boston became an intellectual and educational powerhouse. Harvard University, founded in 1636, is America's oldest institution of higher learning. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, Boston University, and over 100 other colleges and universities have earned Boston the nickname America's College Town, with over 250,000 students calling it home. The Freedom Trail is your golden ticket to understanding American history. This 2.5-mile red brick path connects 16 historically significant sites, from Boston Common, America's oldest public park, established in 1634, to the USS Constitution, Old Ironsides, the world's oldest commissioned warship still afloat, launched in 1797. Fenway Park, opened in 1912, is Major League Baseball's oldest ballpark and home to the beloved Boston Red Sox. The iconic Green Monster, a 37-foot-tall left field wall, is known worldwide among baseball fans. Visiting Fenway isn't just about baseball, it's about experiencing over a century of American sports tradition. The Museum of Fine Arts houses nearly 500,000 works of art, while the New England Aquarium showcases marine life from around the world. The Charles River Esplanade provides beautiful waterfront parks perfect for jogging, picnicking, or simply enjoying Boston's skyline views. Boston stands as a city of just 675,000 residents, but carries outsized historical significance. It's where democratic ideals were forged in revolutionary fire, where education became democratized through public libraries and universities, and where American culture developed its distinctive character. From its strategic harbor location that enabled maritime commerce to its role as birthplace of the American Revolution, Boston masterfully balances preservation of its 390-year history with innovation as a modern hub of medicine, technology, and finance. Niagara Falls, New York. Niagara Falls straddles the international border between New York State, USA, and Ontario, Canada, located approximately 20 miles northwest of Buffalo, New York. The falls sit at 43,0962 degrees N latitude and 79,0377 degrees W longitude, positioned on the Niagara River, which connects Lake Erie to Lake Ontario. Here's something absolutely mind-blowing. The Niagara River flows north, dropping 326 feet from Lake Erie to Lake Ontario over a distance of just 35 miles. Niagara Falls accounts for more than half of that elevation change, approximately 167 feet, occurring at the falls themselves. The falls actually consist of three separate waterfalls: the Horseshoe Falls, the largest, mostly in Canada, the American Falls, and the smaller Bridal Veil Falls. The geography of this region is fascinating. The Niagara Gorge, carved by the falls as they receded upstream, stretches 7 miles from the falls to Lake Ontario. The gorge's steep cliffs reveal layers of rock dating back 400 million years, telling the story of ancient seas that once covered this land. The Niagara Escarpment, a massive cliff formation, runs from New York through Ontario, Wisconsin, and Michigan, but nowhere is it more dramatically showcased than here. Niagara Falls was born approximately 12,000 years ago at the end of the last ice age. As massive glaciers retreated northward, they released enormous quantities of meltwater that became the Great Lakes. This water found an outlet through what is now the Niagara River, and where the river crossed the Niagara Escarpment, the falls were born. But here's the truly remarkable part. Niagara Falls is actually moving. The falls have been retreating upstream at an average rate of about 3 feet per year over the past 12,000 years. This erosion occurs because the river water plunges over the hard caprock, limestone and dolostone, then erodes the softer shale layers underneath, causing chunks of the caprock to collapse. Originally located near present-day Queenston, Ontario, the falls have carved their way 7 miles upstream to their current location. The sheer volume of water flowing over Niagara Falls is staggering. During peak daytime tourist hours in summer, more than 750,000 gallons of water cascade over the crest every single second. That's enough to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool in less than 4 seconds. During peak flow, before water diversion for hydroelectric power, the falls can handle over 6 million cubic feet of water per minute. The Maid of the Mist boat tour, operating since 1846, takes you right into the basin of Horseshoe Falls, so close you can feel the thunderous roar in your chest and the mist on your face. Don a blue poncho and prepare for an unforgettable experience as the boat navigates to within feet of the cascading water. Niagara Falls State Park, established in 1885, is America's oldest state park. The park offers multiple viewing platforms including Prospect Point, Terrapin Point, and the Observation Tower, each providing unique perspectives on the fall's majesty. The park's 140 acres of beautifully maintained grounds offer gardens, hiking trails, and numerous vantage points. To summarize Niagara Falls, you're witnessing approximately 3,160 tons of water flowing over the falls every second during peak flow, carrying 600,000 gallons per second over the precipice. This 12,000-year-old natural phenomenon, carved by glacial meltwater and continuously reshaping itself, represents one of Earth's most accessible and spectacular displays of nature's power. Generating massive amounts of hydroelectric power for both the US and Canada, while attracting over 30 million visitors annually, Niagara Falls perfectly balances natural wonder with human innovation and tourism infrastructure. Central Park, New York City. Welcome to what I call the lungs of Manhattan, the magnificent Central Park. This extraordinary green space occupies 843 acres, 1.317 square miles, in the heart of Manhattan, stretching from 59th Street to 110th Street, about 2.5 miles, and from 5th Avenue to Central Park West 8th Avenue, about 0.5 miles wide. Central Park's location is pure genius. Situated at approximately 7,829 degrees N latitude and 9,654 degrees W longitude, it sits precisely in the middle of Manhattan Island, easily accessible from all directions. The park is bounded by some of the world's most expensive real estate, with Upper East Side elegance to the east and Upper West Side cultural richness to the west. Here's something remarkable about Central Park's geography. It's entirely man-made, yet designed to look completely natural. The park features diverse terrain, including meadows, forests, lakes, and rock outcroppings. 7 bodies of water dot the landscape, including the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir, the lake, the pond, and Turtle Pond. The park's highest point reaches 141 feet above sea level, creating genuine hills and valleys that make you forget you're surrounded by skyscrapers. In 1857, Frederick Law Olmsted and Calvert Vaux won the design competition with their greensward plan. Their revolutionary vision created America's first landscaped public park, designed to provide a democratic space where all social classes could gather. The construction, spanning 1858 to 1873, was an engineering marvel. Workers moved approximately 10 million cartloads of material, planted over 270,000 trees and shrubs, and built over 36 bridges and arches, each uniquely designed so no two are alike. 4 transverse roads were sunken below the park's surface, allowing crosstown traffic to pass invisibly beneath the landscape brilliant urban planning that still functions today. Central Park faced decline in the mid-20th century, but was revitalized beginning in 1980 through the Central Park Conservancy, which now manages the park through a public-private partnership. Today, it's one of the most visited urban parks in the United States, welcoming over 42 million visitors annually. Bethesda Terrace and Fountain serves as Central Park's architectural heart, featuring the magnificent Angel of the Waters statue. The Minton tiles beneath the terrace create the only place in the park where Olmsted and Vaux allowed elaborate decoration, making it a favorite spot for weddings and gatherings. Strawberry Fields, a 2.5-acre memorial to John Lennon, features the iconic Imagine mosaic, gifted by the city of Naples, Italy. Located near the Dakota apartment building where Lennon lived and was tragically killed, this peaceful area attracts pilgrims from worldwide. The Central Park Zoo, the Belvedere Castle, offering panoramic views from its elevated position, and the Swedish Cottage Marionette Theatre provide family entertainment. The Great Lawn, a 55-acre oval of green space, hosts massive concerts and events. The Mall and Literary Walk feature statues of famous writers and provides the park's only straight path, a formal promenade lined with American elm trees. Central Park, you're experiencing 843 acres of carefully engineered natural landscape that required unprecedented vision and construction effort. It's a space where landscape architecture reached its American pinnacle, where democratic ideals found physical expression, and where 42 million annual visitors can escape urban intensity while remaining in Manhattan's heart. From its diverse ecosystems, supporting over 200 bird species, to its role hosting everything from quiet meditation to massive concerts, Central Park exemplifies how thoughtful urban planning can create spaces that enhance human well-being and community connection across all social boundaries. Times Square, New York City. Welcome to the most electrifying intersection on planet Earth. Times Square occupies the area where Broadway and 7th Avenue intersect, creating a bow tie shape between West 42nd and 47th Streets in Midtown Manhattan. Located at approximately 7,580 degrees N latitude and 9,855 degrees W longitude, this iconic location sits at the heart of Manhattan's theater district. The geography of Times Square is unique because it exists where Broadway, laid out following old Native American trails, cuts diagonally across Manhattan's regular street grid. This diagonal intersection creates the distinctive triangular spaces and unusual geometries that give Times Square its dynamic character. The area encompasses roughly 5 blocks of incredibly valuable real estate, with pedestrian plazas created in 2009, transforming former traffic lanes into public gathering spaces. Times Square functions as the commercial and entertainment hub of Midtown Manhattan, with approximately 330,000 pedestrians passing through daily. That's over 120 million people annually. The area's density and foot traffic make it one of the world's most expensive advertising spaces, with digital billboard costs reaching $1.4 million annually for prime positions. Originally called Longacre Square, this area was home to horse stables and carriage factories in the late 1800s. In 1904, the New York Times moved its headquarters to the newly constructed Times building at 42nd Street and Broadway, and the area was renamed Times Square in the newspaper's honor. The 1930s through 1950s represented Times Square's golden age, when grand movie palaces and legitimate theaters made it the epicenter of American entertainment. However, from the 1960s through the 1980s, Times Square declined into a notorious area of adult entertainment, crime, and urban decay. Peep shows, pornographic theaters, and drug dealing made it a symbol of urban decline. The dramatic transformation began in the 1990s under Mayor Rudy Giuliani's administration. Aggressive policing, zoning changes, and corporate investment cleaned up the area, replacing adult establishments with family-friendly attractions, chain restaurants, and retail stores. Disney's renovation of the New Amsterdam Theatre in 1997 symbolized the area's rebirth. Today's Times Square is one of the safest neighborhoods in New York City, a remarkable urban renewal success story. The New Year's Eve ball drop, held since 1907, has become one of the world's most famous annual celebrations. The current Waterford crystal ball, 12 feet in diameter and weighing 11,875 pounds, descends from one Times Square at midnight as 1 billion people worldwide watch on television. Arriving early on New Year's Eve, some people claim spots at 9 a.m. To experience this electric atmosphere has become a bucket list experience. The TKTS booth, with its distinctive red glass staircase, offers same-day Broadway show tickets at discounts up to 50%, making theater accessible to everyone. Broadway theaters, most built in the early 1900s, surround Times Square, offering everything from long-running classics like The Phantom of the Opera to cutting-edge new productions. Madame Tussauds Wax Museum showcases uncannily realistic figures of celebrities, world leaders, and historical figures. Ripley's Believe It or Not Auditorium presents bizarre curiosities from around the world. The Disney Store, M and Muz World, and Hershey's Chocolate World create immersive retail experiences. Times Square, you're standing at the intersection where commerce, entertainment, and tourism converge with unprecedented intensity. This 120-year transformation from horse stables to electric wonderland to urban decay to family-friendly entertainment hub represents urban evolution at its most dramatic. Welcoming 330,000 daily pedestrians, generating billions in economic activity, and serving as the backdrop for countless films, photographs, and memories, Times Square embodies New York's relentless energy and constant reinvention. It's proof that urban spaces can be reimagined and transformed, that public spaces can be reclaimed, and that sometimes the most touristy places become iconic precisely because they successfully capture a city's essential spirit. Washington, D.C. Welcome to Washington, District of Columbia, the only American city specifically created to serve as the nation's capital. Washington, D.C. occupies 68 square miles on the northern bank of the Potomac River, positioned at 38, 9,072 degrees N latitude and 77, 0369 degrees W longitude, bordering Maryland to the north, east, and northwest, and Virginia across the Potomac River to the southwest. The city's geographic location represents a political compromise. In 1790, Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson negotiated the Residence Act, which established the federal capital along the Potomac River. The location was strategically chosen as a neutral site between the northern and southern states, roughly equidistant between the northernmost and southernmost states of the original 13 colonies. Washington, D.C.'s geography features relatively flat terrain rising gradually from the Potomac River, with the highest natural point reaching 409 feet above sea level in Tenleytown. The city was built on land that included tidal marshes, rolling hills, and forests. Rock Creek, the Anacostia River, and the Potomac River define much of the city's natural geography and provide beautiful waterfront areas. The city's most distinctive geographic feature is its planned layout. French-born engineer Pierre Charles L'Enfant designed Washington with broad diagonal avenues named after states, overlaying a grid street system, with the Capitol building as the central reference point. This Baroque-inspired design creates numerous traffic circles, dramatic vistas, and symbolic relationships between buildings, embodying Enlightenment ideals of order, reason, and democracy. In 1790, when America desperately needed a permanent capital, the young nation's government had bounced between Philadelphia, New York, and other cities. President George Washington selected the exact location for the new capital, which would be named in his honor, the only U.S. capital named after a president. Construction began in 1792, with the White House and Capitol building as the primary structures. The city was officially founded on July 16, 1790, though the federal government didn't move from Philadelphia until 1800. President John Adams became the first president to occupy the White House in November 1800, famously writing to his wife Abigail, "I pray heaven to bestow the best of blessings on this house and all that shall hereafter inhabit it." The 20th century saw Washington transform into a grand capital worthy of a world superpower. The Macmillan Plan of 1901 created the National Mall as we know it today, establishing locations for monuments and museums. The Lincoln Memorial, 1922, Jefferson Memorial, 1943, and later the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, 1982, and Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial 2011 created sacred civic spaces for national reflection. The National Mall, stretching over 2 miles from the Capitol to the Lincoln Memorial, serves as America's front yard. This magnificent greensward hosts presidential inaugurations, protests, celebrations, and millions of visitors exploring Smithsonian museums lining both sides. The White House, residing at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue since 1800, contains 132 rooms, 35 bathrooms, and 6 levels. Every president except George Washington has lived here, making it the world's most famous residence and the symbolic heart of American executive power. The United States Capitol building, with its iconic dome rising 288 feet, houses the legislative branch. The Capitol Rotunda, beneath the dome, features spectacular artwork, including the Apotheosis of Washington. The building contains 540 rooms and miles of corridors, hosting the daily work of democracy. The Washington Monument, completed in 1884 after 36 years of intermittent construction, stands 555 feet tall as the world's tallest stone structure and tallest obelisk. Its two-toned appearance, visible change in marble color about 150 feet up, marks where construction halted during the Civil War. Washington, D.C. You're experiencing a 68-square-mile city specifically designed to embody democratic ideals and national identity. From its 1790 founding through its burning and rebuilding to its evolution as world capital, Washington represents American ambition, ideals, and imperfection. Hosting all 3 branches of federal government, 176 foreign embassies, and welcoming 24 million annual tourists, D.C. functions simultaneously as working government, living history museum, and symbol of American democracy. Its monuments, museums, and marble buildings tell America's complex story, celebrating founding principles while acknowledging the ongoing struggle to fulfill the promise that all people are created equal. We've just completed an extraordinary journey through 6 of America's most iconic destinations, and I hope your hearts are as full as mine right now. From the thundering power of Niagara Falls to the marble halls of democracy in Washington, D.C., from the revolutionary streets of Boston to the electric energy of Times Square, from the engineered paradise of Central Park to the towering ambitions of New York City, we've witnessed the incredible tapestry of American geography, history, culture, and dreams. So here's my question for you. Which of these 6 destinations called to you most strongly, and why? What is it about that particular place that resonates with your own journey, your own interests, your own dreams? Drop your answers in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Share to many people to know about this journey. Goodbye and see you again in our next discovery.